The first thing everyone learned on Kepri Station was how to keep their eyes down. It wasn't written anywhere, not on the glowing hollow signs that drifted above the docking bays or in the station's dry, legalistic orientation briefings. It was learned the hard way, through broken bones, ruptured lungs, and in a few unfortunate cases, sudden and spectacular death. You did not stare at the Varkesh. They were taller than humans by a head and a half, their bodies built like living weapons, dense muscle layered over an exoskeletal mesh that shimmered faintly beneath their ash-gray skin. Their arms ended in clawed hands capable of tearing through steel bulkheads, and their eyes, burning amber, slit-pupilled, were infamous across half the galaxy. The Varkesh were warriors by culture, by biology, by religion. They believed violence was not merely a tool, but a language, a sacred one. And one of them was standing directly in front of me. Her name, I would later learn, was Kael'thara of the Crimson Oath, and she could have killed me in under a second. The station's central concourse buzzed with life. Traders hawking exotic goods, smugglers whispering deals in shadowed corners, diplomats gliding through crowds with practiced smiles. Humans were a minority here, tolerated mostly because we were useful engineers, mediators, problem solvers. I was all three. Or, at least, I tried to be. I had just finished repairing a faulty grav stabilizer in Dock 7, my hands still smelling faintly of ion grease, when the crowd parted ahead of me like water before a blade. Kael'thara approached. She wore no armor. Varkesh warriors only donned battle plating when they expected worthy resistance. Her skin bore ritual scars, thin silver lines tracing her shoulders and down her arms, each one a story of survival or conquest. A massive plasma glaive was magnetically locked across her back, humming softly, with contained energy. The chatter around us died instantly. I felt my pulse hammer in my ears. She stopped less than a meter away, towering over me, her gaze boring into my skull. I could smell something sharp and metallic in the air, Varkesh pheromones, I'd been told, released when they assess threats. Her claws flexed once. "Human," she said, her voice low and resonant, vibrating in my chest. "You repaired the stabilizer." I swallowed. Why, yes. That was me. Her eyes narrowed. "You did so without authorization." "That's true," I admitted. "But if I hadn't, Dock 7 would have lost containment. Half the station would have been pulled into vacuum." A murmur rippled through the onlookers. Varkesh culture respected decisive action, but they despised rule-breaking unless it was sanctioned by strength. Kael'thara leaned closer. I could see my reflection in her eyes, small, fragile, human. "You defied protocol," she said. "Among my people, that invites challenge." My mouth went dry. A challenge meant combat. And combat with a Varkesh warrior was a death sentence. "I accept responsibility," I said carefully. "If punishment is required, I'll submit." Her lips curled, not quite a smile. "Submission is weakness." My brain raced. I needed to say something, anything, to shift the dynamic, to reframe the moment before it snapped shut like a trap. And then I noticed something. Up close, beneath the scars and the lethal presence, there was an elegance to her. The way she held herself, balanced perfectly even in stillness. The faint bioluminescent patterns beneath her skin pulsed slowly, rhythmically, like a controlled heartbeat. It was beautiful. The words slipped out before fear could stop it. "You're incredible," I said. "I've never seen someone carry strength so gracefully." The concourse froze. So did Kael'thara. Her eyes widened by a fraction. The pheromone scent in the air shifted, sharpness giving way to something unfamiliar. Confusion, maybe, or shock. No one had spoken like that to her before. I was almost certain of it. Among the Varkesh, compliments were rare and dangerous. Praise was earned only through combat, scars, or victory. To offer it freely, especially from a weaker species, was unheard of. "You speak strangely human," she said slowly. "Explain." I took a breath. On my world, we admire more than just power. Control. Discipline. The ability to choose restraint when you don't need to. Her claws relaxed. "You believe I showed restraint? You could have killed me already," I said honestly. "But you didn't." Silence stretched between us. Around us, station security hovered nervously, weapons half raised but useless against her. Traitors pretended not to watch. Everyone was waiting for blood. Instead, Kael'thara did something no one expected. She laughed. It was a low, rumbling sound, like distant thunder rolling across stone. "Your courage is misplaced," she said, "but it is real." She turned away, the crowd exhaling as one, and began to walk. After a few steps, she stopped. "Human," she called without looking back. "Walk with me." I hesitated only a moment before following. Refusing would have been an insult. And, strangely, I wasn't afraid anymore. We moved through the station together, her stride long and confident, mine shorter but steady. I noticed people staring, not at her but at me. A human walking beside a Varkesh warrior, unharmed, unchallenged. "Why did you compliment me?" she asked suddenly. "Because it was true," I said. "And because I thought you deserved to hear it." She considered that. Among my kind, words are weapons. Praise can provoke duels. Insults can spark wars. Among mine, I replied, words can stop them. She stopped again, turning to face me fully this time. "You are either foolish," she said, "or dangerous in ways you do not yet understand." "Probably both," I admitted. Another rumble of laughter escaped her. We reached the observation ring, where the stars spilled endlessly beyond transparent alloy. Ships drifted like glowing embers against the void. "This station exists because of uneasy peace," Kael'thara said. "The Varkesh enforce order here. Others fear us. They obey." "And you?" I asked. "I am a blade," she said simply. "Forged to kill, honed to command." I studied her profile, the scars, the quiet tension in her posture. "Do you ever wish to be something else?" Her eyes flicked to me, sharp. "Careful, human." "Sorry," I said quickly. "Just curiosity." She was silent for a long time. "Once," she said at last, "I wondered what it would be like to be seen without fear." I felt something twist in my chest. "You were, just now." She looked at me, really looked at me, as if reassessing every assumption she'd made. "Your words disarmed me," she said. "That is unsettling." "Then I apologize." "No," she said firmly. "Do not." From that day on, things changed. Kael'thara began seeking me out, sometimes for practical reasons, like advice on station systems or human customs. Other times, with no excuse at all. We talked about our worlds, our histories, the strange similarities between species separated by light years. Rumors spread, of course. Some said I'd bonded her, a Varkesh concept reserved for warriors who fought side by side. Others whispered darker things, that I'd ensnared her mind, that humans used subtle psychic tricks. The truth was simpler. We listened to each other. Then came the incident in the lower Habrings. A separatist group, multi-species, heavily armed, attempted to seize control of the station's power core. Explosions rocked the decks. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut. I was trapped near engineering when the alarm screamed. And Kael'thara was on the other side. I could hear the fighting through the comm channels, Varkesh battle cries, plasma fire, screams. The separatists were desperate. Dangerous. A blast tore through the corridor near me, throwing me against the wall. Pain flared through my side. My vision blurred. Through the smoke, a figure emerged.
Kael'thra.
Her skin was smeared with dark blood, some hers, mostly not. Her glaive hummed, its blade burning white-hot. She saw me, and something fierce and protective flashed in her eyes. "Stay behind me," she commanded. The separatists poured in moments later. 3 of them.
Armed.
Cornered. I watched as Kael'thra moved like a storm given form, precise, unstoppable. In seconds, it was over. She turned back to me, chest heaving. "You are injured," she said. "I'll live," I said, wincing. She reached out, hesitated, then gently touched my shoulder with clawed fingers, careful not to pierce skin. "You matter," she said quietly. The words carried weight far beyond their simplicity. After the crisis, after the station stabilized and the dead were counted, Kael'thra was summoned by her superiors. Varkesh Command did not like complications or attachments. They offered her a choice: return to the war front,
Glory.
endless battle, or remain on Kepri Station as an ambassador, a role requiring restraint, diplomacy, and cooperation with weaker species. The implication was clear. One path erased me from her life entirely. She found me in the observation ring again. "They believe you have softened me," she said. "And have I?" I asked. She stepped closer, towering over me as she had that first day, but now there was no threat in her stance. "You taught me that strength does not diminish when it is seen," she said. "Only when it is feared." My throat tightened. "What will you choose?" She extended her hand, palm up, a Varkesh gesture of trust rarely given. "I will stay," she said, "if you will stand beside me." I placed my hand in hers. Her grip was firm, warm, steady.
"I already am," I said.
On a station built on fear and fragile peace, an alien warrior and a human engineer changed everything with a single, honest compliment. And for the first time in her life, Kael'thra was not just a blade. She was seen. The stars beyond Kepri Station had not changed, but the way people looked at them had. Months passed, and Kael'thra's presence reshaped the station in ways no treaty ever had. As Varkesh ambassador, she stood at the intersection of fear and understanding, her authority unquestioned, her restraint unmistakable. Where once merchants bowed their heads and hurried past, now they paused. Some even spoke to her. They still respected her strength. They no longer feared her silence. And me? I became something unexpected, the human who spoke to a Varkesh warrior like an equal. Not a legend, not a hero. Just a reminder that power didn't always have to roar to be real. Kael'thra and I worked side by side. I repaired systems. She repaired fractures between species. When disputes arose, she listened before she judged. When violence threatened, her presence alone was often enough to end it. Word spread beyond the station. Other Varkesh took notice. Some challenged her philosophy. A few even tested her resolve in ritual combat, believing restraint had weakened her. They all left with the same understanding etched into their bones. Kael'thra had not become less dangerous. She had become unshakable. One cycle, as we stood again in the observation ring, the place where everything had begun, she spoke softly, almost thoughtfully. "Among my people," she said, "history remembers only those who conquered." I looked at her reflection against the stars. Maybe it's time they remembered someone who chose. She turned to me, eyes glowing faintly, and placed her hand over her chest, the Varkesh gesture of profound respect. "You saw me when I was only a weapon," she said. "Because of that, I learned I could be more." I smiled. All I did was tell the truth. She leaned down slightly, her voice meant only for me. Truth, she said, can be sharper than any blade. Kepri Station remained a crossroads of the galaxy, dangerous, chaotic, alive. But something fundamental had shifted. Not because of war. Not because of conquest. Because one alien warrior paused, and one human chose courage over silence. She could have killed me instantly. Instead, she helped change the future. And in the endless dark between stars, that made all the difference.